Revelation 20, verse 10. And the devil who was misleading them was hurled into the lake of fire and sulfur, where both the wild beast and the false prophet already were. And they will be tormented day and night forever and ever. So this must mean that the devil and everybody who is in this fiery torment is going to be tormented day and night forever and ever, because that's what it says here, right? Revelation 14:11. And the smoke of their torment ascends forever and ever, and day and night, and they will have no rest, those who worship the wild beast and its image, and whoever receives the mark of its name. Up until the New Testament, the Old Testament has been telling people, and God has been telling people, that when you're dead, you're dead. Your mind is gone. Your thoughts are gone. You don't know who you are. You basically don't exist. You're in a coma. You're not dreaming, nothing, a deep sleep, until God decides to resurrect you again or not. But when you read Revelation, you think, no, these people are alive because they're being tormented, and it'll be forever. Their torment would never stop. Joshua basically just finished destroying a certain city, and they burned it, right? They burned the city to the ground. And this is what Joshua 8, verse 26 through 27 says. And Joshua did not draw back his hand with which he stretched out the javelin until he had devoted all the inhabitants of Ai to destruction. Only the domestic animals and the spoil of the city Israel plundered for themselves, according to Jehovah's word that he had laid in command upon Joshua. Then Joshua burned Ai and reduced it to an indefinitely lasting mound, as a desolation down to this day. And check out this one, Isaiah 34, verse 8 through 10. For Jehovah has a day of vengeance, a year of retributions for the legal case over Zion. And her torrent must be changed into pitch, and her dust into sulfur, and her land must become a burning pitch. By night or by day it will not be extinguished. To time indefinite its smoke will keep ascending. From generation to generation she will be parched or burned. She will continue to be burned forever and ever, and no one will be passing across her. So the land will be a desolate waste, and no one will be, going through that land. No one can live in that land. No one can grow any sort of food in that land. If you were to go to that location in this present day that Isaiah is talking about, do you really think you're going to see fire there? The city's burning up till this day, forever and ever and ever? That's absurd. So what does that mean? It's symbolic. When Revelation was talking about the devil will be thrown into a lake of fire, where the false prophets were and the people that were that were helping the devil, they were all there in that lake of sulfur and fire. They'll be burning and be tormented day and night forever and ever. What else could it possibly mean if not that exact meaning, right? The word torment does not mean torment. John wrote the book of Revelation. He wrote it in Greek. The Greek word that he used can be translated as torment, but what it literally means is to be in jail. Like you're in jail, okay? You're not free, you're in jail. So everyone who is dead is literally in jail. But the word in Greek for jail, when you translate it to English, can be translated as torment. But here's the problem. Up until the New Testament, the Bible is telling us that those who die are conscious of nothing at all. When a man dies, his thoughts cease to exist. His thoughts perish. Wherever the animal goes when they die, the same place the man goes when they die. To the grave. They are no more. So whatever you can find to do while you are alive, do it now, because there is no work, nor knowledge, nor power, nor anything in the grave, the place to which you are going. This is what is in the Old Testament. The whole idea is when you're dead, you're dead. Then all of a sudden, now, during the Dark Ages and the Catholic Church ruling everything, this whole idea of torture while you're dead is in the picture. Because now, instead of using the literal word jail, they're saying, instead of saying you will be in jail forever and ever and ever, they're saying you will be tormented forever and ever and ever. But the problem with torment is, if you're going to be tormented, you have to be alive in some way. Your mental faculties or your spirit has to be alive in some form, shape, or way for you to experience the fact that you're being tormented. Right? So, but the Bible is telling us that you're dead when you're dead. And God says that the soul that is sinning, it itself will die. So your soul is dead. Your spirit is dead. Your brain is dead. There is nothing you are using to be alive or conscious to experience torment. So when you use the word torment, it throws off the whole idea of what the whole Old Testament is trying to tell you. In fact, the word torment makes it more demonic. Because now you're thinking, wait, so I'm going to be alive when I'm dead and God is going to be burning me, literally burning me forever and ever and ever? That's a demonic teaching. It's a trickery of the devil to make it seem like hellfire actually exists. But just like in the book of Isaiah, in the book of Joshua, those literal cities are not being burned today forever and ever and ever. So too in Revelation, it doesn't literally mean that they will be burned forever and ever and ever. It's a symbolism for saying the person will be destroyed. They will not live forever and ever and ever. Also, in Revelation, it says that hell and the devil and death will be thrown into the lake of fire. So, is death alive? Does death have a conscience? So, is God going to be tormenting death forever and ever and ever? I thought hell is a place of fire. So what? Hell is going to be thrown into the lake of fire. So fire is being thrown into fire, and hell is going to be tormented day and night forever and ever and ever. Does that make sense to you? And the devil is going to be in the lake of fire, and he's going to be tormented forever and ever and ever. You see the problem with the word torment? Is not supposed to be torment. Just because something could be translated into several words doesn't mean you should use any of those words that you choose to. No. Pick the word that best fits the description of the Bible. Torment is the worst word you can use because now it contradicts the whole Bible. Because when a person is dead, he's dead. And God is not evil to torment someone after they've already died. Death is the punishment. Torment after death is completely unnecessary. And it's actually wicked and evil. That's something the devil would love to do to you. And that's something the devil would love for you to think a God of love will do to you if you don't obey him. Those in that lake of fire basically means they will be destroyed forever and ever and ever. They will not be resurrected. Let's say I die right now. I am not in the lake of fire. Because if God was to put me in the lake of fire, he's basically saying Samuel will never come back. Because fire means I will never resurrect him again. The devil will be thrown into the lake of fire. He will never come back. Death will be thrown into the lake of fire. Death will be no more. Death will never come back. Remember, death will be no more. Food shortages will be no more. Sicknesses and diseases and pestilences will be no more. The former things have passed away, because the former things have now been casted into the lake of fire. But the former things are not literally being alive and burned and roasted and toasted and burned, like tortured, tormented forever and ever and ever. No, the former things are now in jail. They cannot work. When you're in jail, you're not free to do what you want to do. So literally they are in jail. Death is in jail forever and ever and ever. It will never be set free to come back and haunt mankind ever again. The devil will be in jail forever. He will never be released to come back and haunt mankind ever again. You understand? So that is what the Bible is trying to say, and that's what God is trying to say. But when you put the word torment, it throws everything out of whack. They try to use what Christ said about Gehenna as proof that hell is a place where you're alive and being tormented forever and ever and ever. I decided to talk about it because this is actually very important. There are two deaths. Remember, there are two deaths. You see, you're probably confused about two scriptures coincidentally, right? One where God says, the soul that is sinning, it itself will die, right? The soul that is sinning, it itself will die. And then Christ is saying, do not fear those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. But fear the one who can destroy both body and soul in Gehenna. So you're probably wondering, so is the soul being destroyed or is the soul just dying? Now, in the first scripture, remember there are two deaths. The first death, as you can see in this picture, is the one on the top. That's regular death. Everybody who is dead right now is in the first death. So that's just the part where it's like they have been killed. They're dead, right? The soul that is sinning, it itself will die. That's the first death. They're dead. The second death is symbolized by fire. Now, the literal place outside of Jerusalem was called where they burned garbage, and they threw the dead bodies of criminals that were already dead. That place was called Gehenna. That was a place that they kept burning with fire. So because, that's a lot of trash. So when you burn it with fire, you can use it as manure, right? That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to burn trash, not just keep it in a trash yard. So they will keep that place burning. So Christ was turning their attention to that literal place of fire in Gehenna. He was saying, do not fear the one who can just kill you. Like I can just kill you. Anybody can just kill you. A disease can kill you. You're dead. You're in the first death. Do not fear that first death. Do not fear anyone who can put you in that first death where you're just dead. But fear the one who can destroy you, both your body and your soul in Gehenna. So when he says Gehenna, automatically their mind goes to what? This place of fire. They know everything that goes into the fire is destroyed, is not coming back. So Christ is basically saying the first death you can be resurrected from. Everyone that you see there in the top portion of the picture is in the first death. That's everybody right now. Everybody is in the first death. They can be resurrected. But if God throws somebody into the second death, he's basically saying that person has been casted into the lake of fire. He will never come back. So when the Bible says that death will be thrown into the lake of fire, or death will be thrown into Gehenna, he's saying
death will never come back. When he's saying hell will be thrown into the lake of fire, that should tell you that hell is not a place of fire. Hell is just wherever you are when you're dead. Hell will be thrown into the lake of fire. Hell will be no more. Death will be no more. The devil will be thrown into the lake of fire. All of this is the second death, which is symbolized by fire, which is also symbolized by what Christ said when he said Gehenna. If you were living in Jerusalem at that time, you would know that Christ is alluding to fire. So if I had a sheet of paper right now and I tore up the sheet of paper, in a way I can bring that paper back, through meticulous means, working on it day and night. I could possibly bring that paper back. But if I was to burn that paper with fire, the paper is destroyed. I cannot bring it back. So Christ and God are using an illustration for you to get the point that no, he's not gonna keep you alive and burn you. What kind of evil demonic thing is that? He's saying if you disobey him, and to the point where he feels like even if he was to resurrect you, you will still do the same things again. For example, the devil, then he will throw you into the lake of fire, which means he would never come back. Day and night, forever and ever and ever, you will be in jail. Remember, it's not torment. You will be in jail. You see how clear the picture is now? So right now, everybody is not in the second death. Nobody's in the second death right now. Only the first death, which is regular death. It is not by fire. They are not completely destroyed. They have hope to be resurrected again. But after the resurrection, like Revelation says, those dead in hell, the dead in the sea, and the dead in hell will be resurrected. They will be brought back. And after they have been judged, now God will determine whether they are thrown back to death a second time, which is symbolized by fire, or he would not throw them back to death. He would leave them alive and allow them to live forever and ever and ever. So those are the two forms of death. I hope that basically in simple terms, everyone at the top of the picture is in the first death, right? If God chooses, let's say God chooses not to resurrect one person in that picture. Let's say God chooses not to resurrect somebody in that top picture where you see the burial place. Let's say he chooses not to resurrect someone. Then symbolically, that person is in the lake of fire because he is never coming back. It is as if, symbolically, it is as if God has burned that person with fire and has destroyed them because he will never come back. So let's say I'm one of those people in that graveyard. I'm one of those tombstones, right? I'm under one of those tombstones. And God never brings me back ever again. Forever and ever and ever, I am in jail in that graveyard. I am in the jail of death. I will never be resurrected. That is what the Bible calls the lake of fire. It is symbolism for saying that I will never come back because God has burned me with fire in Gehenna. He has burned this piece of paper in fire and has no intentions of ever bringing that paper back. You see? So that is the second death. So some people basically will go straight to the second death because God will never resurrect them after they have died. And you cannot say Adolf Hitler is one of them because you don't know if God is going to bring him back. But let's just say Adolf Hitler is one of those people that God has no intentions of bringing back. Let's just say hypothetically. Then that means Adolf Hitler went straight to the second death, the lake of fire, because God will never bring him back. But if a child has been aborted, has been killed innocently, right? That child is in the first death. God will not put him in the second death because God has every intention of bringing that child back from the dead. That child has only gone through the first death. He has not gone through the second death because the second death means he will never come back. Okay, I think I've explained it well enough.
There's a big problem when you remove certain words and put your own ideology in the Bible. So that passage is a complete mistranslation. The word torment is supposed to be jail. Then the scriptures will make a lot more sense to you and you'll realize that God is not this wicked, evil being who loves to torment people forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. He's constantly burning them and roasting them forever and ever and ever, never stopping to times indefinite. He's going to be burning them and roasting. That is so demonic. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And one last thing. You see the passage where Christ was on the torture stake and he told the man next to him, he said, "Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise." This is how one comma can throw off, can cause a whole dogma to fluctuate. Christ said, this is literally what he said, "Truly I say to you this day, that you will be with me in paradise. Truly I say to you this day, comma, or truly I say to you today, comma, you will be with me in paradise." It is not, "Truly I say to you, comma, today you will be with me in paradise." So it's either Christ is telling him, you will be with me today, right now, this day, in paradise, or he's saying, I'm talking to you today that you will be with me in paradise one day. Not today, one day, but I'm talking to you right now, today. You see, that's an expression, that's, you know, it's a form of expression in Bible time that today I'm telling you that tomorrow I'm going to kill you. Today I'm telling you that tomorrow I'm going to kill you. Or I'm telling you that today I'm going to kill you. There's a big difference where you put the comma. And that's made a mishap of things, because now people think that when they die, they go straight to paradise, because the comma is where it would seem like Christ is telling him that today that man was going to go with him to paradise. See, there's a big problem when you translate things into a different language and you use different words, one, or put commas where they don't belong to, or instead of putting it as a question form, you put it as a statement form.